Hello class and welcome to week 4 of BUAD 201 Business Writing. This week we're going to take a look at chapter 5, which discusses drafting and organizing business messages. This will help you prepare for our live in-class meeting on Friday, September 22nd. Please be sure to refer to the syllabus for the class location, for the room number, and the time that we will be meeting on Friday, September 22nd. Please remember this in-class live meeting is mandatory and you must be there. We will be completing our first in-class writing assignment, which I'm going to help prepare you for today. In addition, we're going to go over your APA research report, which is going to be due towards the end of the semester. You will need to turn this in during your finals week. So again, please refer to the syllabus for the due date of your APA research report. So first, let's take a look at chapter 5. This week you will have another class activity. So make sure to click on week 4 class activity, which is right here. Open up the Microsoft Word document, and once you're completed with your class activities for this week, please make sure to upload it into this link before the end of the week on Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. So you will have 3 activities for this week. Again, please put your name at the top and save this activity sheet as you go for our lecture. So let's go ahead and open up chapter 5. So again, chapter 5 is going to discuss organizing and drafting business messages. You will be writing a business message for your in-class writing assignment when we meet. So please make sure to review everything that we go over today, because your first in-class writing assignment will be a direct message. So again, open up your week 4 class activity document, save the file as you go, and once you're completed, please upload it before Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. So let's talk a little bit about researching background information. So gathering background information is always the first step on whenever you're going to write something. You want to have a good understanding of what it is you're going to be writing about. You need to make sure that you understand it thoroughly and that you have enough information to write about what it is you want to write about, which goes to our next bullet point, collecting information about a certain topic. There are a lot of different ways to collect information about a certain topic, so you want to be sure that you gather as much information as you can about a certain topic. Because remember, it's always better to have more information than less information, because the more information you have about something, the better you're going to understand it and the better you're going to be able to draft the message that it is you're drafting. So before drafting a direct message, you need to ask yourself the following to avoid inaccurate messages. What does the receiver need to know about this topic? When you understand what the receiver needs to know about, you're going to be able to thoroughly write what it is you need to write. You never want to write about information that the receiver doesn't need to know about, because when you are writing a business message, you want to make sure that you are concise in your writing. This is the difference for writing in a business organization. And this is what I'm going to be looking for when you write your first in-class writing assignment, the direct message. I'm going to look to make sure that you have concise writing styles. So what does the receiver need to know about this topic? Do they need to know about information that I'm writing about, or is this just kind of a waste of everybody's time? That's something to consider. What is the receiver to do? So the receiver who's going to be receiving your direct message, what is it that they need to do with this information? How are they going to do it? What is it that they need to do? Make sure you are specific when you are writing a direct message. When must the receiver do it? You always want to give them a certain date and time. If you are requested to write something in the prompt where the receiver needs to respond back to you by a certain day or time, make sure you put that in your direct message. For example, if I tell you guys your APA research report is due towards the end of the semester, you're not going to have an accurate date of when you need to turn it in by. It's very open-ended and it's very abstract. Everybody's going to have their own idea of when the quote-unquote end of semester is. But if I tell you you need to turn in your APA report on the last day of class when we take our final exam, you're going to know the exact day and time we need to turn it in by. So giving them a day and time is always better. It's kind of like when you ask your boss, hey, is it okay if I leave early one day next week? Your boss is then going to respond back to you, okay, well, which day do you want to leave early? So you can see that now you're creating more conversation, which is unnecessary. Whereas if you put in your initial email to your boss, hey boss, I was wondering if I can leave if I can leave next week early on Wednesday, July 5th, at 2:30 p.m. and then give him or her a reasoning because I have a doctor's appointment I need to attend. Well, your boss is most likely going to respond with their answer right away. You're avoiding those unnecessary emails back and forth because you're being very clear in the message that you're writing. So rather than saying, "Hey boss, I need to leave early next week one day," right? "Hey boss, I need to leave early next week on Wednesday, July 5th at 2:30 p.m. because I have a doctor's appointment." You're being clear, you're being concise, and you're giving enough information for your boss to allow him or her to make a decision. And of course, what will happen if the receiver doesn't do it? For example, let's say you work for Disneyland and you're sending out a coupon to a group of people. And in this letter, it says this coupon must be redeemed by December 31st, 2017. And then you can put after there, if the coupon is not redeemed, it will expire. So you're letting them know what will happen if you don't use that coupon by. You always want to make sure you give the receiver enough information to understand what it is you are writing about. So there are 8 research methods that your book discusses. There are informal research methods and formal research methods. So let's go over the informal research methods. The first one is search your company's files. So let's say you're writing a direct message and you need to gather information on something that your company did. Well, maybe you can search the company's files. Maybe there's stuff in the database that your company has stored where you can gather information from. Maybe it's something that you need to talk with your boss with. You can go up to your boss, talk with him or her about what it is that you're trying to research about. You can also interview the target audience, maybe the people you are sending a message to. You can interview them to kind of get a better idea of what it is that they need and want. And you can even conduct an informal survey. Maybe you want to write a message to customers about a sale that's coming up, but before you do, you want to know if enough people are going to come to the sale. So maybe when you're working at the department store, you can just kind of go around with a clipboard and ask customers, hey, would you attend this sale if you received an email about it? And that's more of an informal way to conduct the survey. And then you have formal research methods. Access electronic sources. Maybe there's something that's been published. Maybe there's something that has been written already that can help you establish what it is you want to write. You can also search manually for this information. You can even investigate primary sources if you're writing about a customer experience. You can investigate the sources on what happened. Maybe you can talk to the employees to find out why a certain customer didn't have a good experience, or you can even conduct scientific experiments. This is where you can say, hey, I want to know if we have enough people on the floor for our seasonal winter Nordstrom sale, and what you can do is maybe one day you can put 10 employees out on the floor, and then another day you can put 5 employees out on the floor, and you can see if there are more complaints coming on the day with only 5 employees. Well, that will kind of let you know that you need to get more employees during this busy time of the season. So make sure to go over each one of these points in your book. It talks about them more thoroughly in detail. You are required to understand all 8 of them, so that way when you are gathering information for reports, you have a good understanding on how to gather this information. So for your class activity 1, it's important to be sure to research information before diving into a direct message, whether it's a letter, an email, or a memo, and writing it. So remember, you're going to learn how to write a letter, write an email, and write a memo in this class. Those are the 3 types of messages you're going to learn how to write in formatting style. There are informal and formal methods of researching, and each has its significant value. So I want you to pick one of the research methods that we just went over to discuss with the class. But in this case, since this is an online class, you're just going to complete it as your class activity. And these are in your online book in sections 5-1A and 5-1B. So your activity, I want you to think about you working as a customer relations in the customer relations team in the Nordstrom's marketing department at South Coast Plaza Mall. You've received several emails from unhappy customers stating they did not have the help they needed while shopping during the month of December. This is a high season of shopping. There can be several reasons why this may have happened. So your team needs to send an email to the VP of marketing explaining why you think this could have happened using the research method you chose. So in 3 to 4 sentences, discuss how you can use the research method to gather further information about the issue. So pick one of those informal or formal research methods, which are right here, and then discuss how you can apply the results of the message you will be sending. And then, was this the research method you feel was best to gather information for the situation? If yes, why? If no, which research method would have worked better? So take some time and go ahead and complete this. Go ahead and pause our video right now, and once you are completed with your class activity number 1, go ahead and resume the video. So let's take a look into generating ideas and organizing information. So when you receive the prompt for your in-class writing assignment when we meet, you need to generate ideas and organize the information that you're coming up with. I'm going to provide you with a prompt, and then you're going to have to come up with ideas and explanations on what it is you need to write. Remember, not all information is gathered through research. Sometimes fresh ideas must be generated. This is why I'm a big proponent on brainstorming. It is the most common tool, and you'd be surprised how much remarkable innovation it can unleash. Brainstorming is fantastic, you know. Start with one idea and then cluster off into more ideas. You know, no idea is a bad idea, just some are going to be better. And that's when you're going to be able to choose from that idea. So your example, let's say you're creating a brochure for recruiting students into a business group at CSUF. What kind of information would you include in that brochure? Well, let's start brainstorming and let's start figuring out ways on what we can do to create a brochure. And that's something you're going to be doing in your next class activity. So grouping ideas to show relationships. So whenever you're writing business emails, memos, or letters, you want to make sure you group your ideas together to show a relationship. You don't want to jump back and forth from idea to idea, because this will not help you, or excuse me, help the reader understand what it is you're writing. It's going to be very scattered. So you want to make sure your ideas flow. So make sure to create a format or an outline for your message. So maybe when you write your direct message in class, you can start by opening up a Microsoft Word document and creating an outline like this here of certain things you want to write about. That way, you have an idea of what you want to write when you want to write, and all your ideas are grouped together. So for your class activity 2, in recent years, enrollment for the Business Writing Club at CSUF has been decreasing. You are now the new president of the Business Writing Club, and you need to come up with some ideas on how to increase enrollment. So your activity, in less than a paragraph, write down some things you would do to brainstorm with other club members on how to increase enrollment. Would you use one of the eight research methods discussed? If so, why? If not, explain what you would do. So maybe if you don't want to use one of the research methods, maybe you can brainstorm. In this case, personally, I would brainstorm and I would start coming up with ideas. What are some things that we can do to get people to attend maybe a meeting at a business club? What would I do? Maybe I would create a brochure. What would I include in that brochure? Maybe I would offer, free food during these meetings. Or maybe you can even include some incentives. These are the certain companies that are established with the Business Writing Club, and you can interview for these companies for an internship. What would you do? Start generating ideas and see what you could come up with. Again, go ahead and pause this video. Take about 10 minutes to complete this activity. Once you are complete, make sure to save your document and go ahead and hit the play button to resume our video class lecture. So let's take a look at a direct message. So you have an indirect way of writing and you have a direct way of writing. So since we're going to be writing a direct message, you want to stay away from the indirect approach. The direct message is great because it gives the information up front. However, you don't want to use the direct approach when you're writing a persuasive message or even a bad news message. In these cases, you would use the indirect approach 99 out of 100 times because you want to build credibility up and reasoning before you give the news that it is you're giving in a persuasive or negative message. But in a direct message, you want to be direct. You want to open up with what it is that you're going to be discussing in this letter, memo, or email you're going to be writing. So direct has three advantages. It saves the reader time because right in the beginning they're able to find out what it is you're writing about. And it also sets a proper frame of mind. It gives them an idea of what the letter is going to be written about so they know what to expect. And it also reduces frustration. They'll know what you're writing about because it's some of the first things you're talking about. And that's one thing I'm going to be looking at when you write your in-class writing assignment, which is the direct message. Are you writing about the information in the beginning? As a reader, do I understand what it is you're writing about in the beginning, or do I have to read a little bit to figure out what it is you're writing about? So keep that in mind with a direct message. So let's take a look at a direct and indirect news example. If you weren't aware, about maybe 3 years ago, the company Target, which the retail stores, they had some hackers breach their system and some personal information was stolen of customers who shopped with Target. Now, not every customer's information was stolen, but Target was able to figure out whose information was stolen. So what they did was they wrote a direct message to the people whose information weren't stolen, and then they wrote an indirect message to the people's information, to the people whose information was stolen. So if my information wasn't stolen and Target sends me a letter to notify me about, hey, we had a security breach in Target, but we want to let you know that your information wasn't compromised, bam, right away I'm able to understand what this message is going to be about. Target had a security breach, but the good news is my information wasn't compromised. So that's more of a direct approach. Whereas for the people whose information was stolen, they were going to use the indirect approach. They may start with something along the lines like, hey, if you haven't heard, Target's security center was breached and the personal information of some of our clients was stolen. Then they're going to talk about what they're doing to fix the issue. Target is working hard diligently with a third-party source to help plug a hole in the security breach in our system so it does not happen again. For the people who were affected, we're going to offer 3 years of free credit monitoring, and we're going to also provide them with a 1-800 number for them to call to receive help on what to do if they're confused with the process. Then they're going to state, at this point of time, your information was stolen as a customer. So now, if I'm receiving that indirect message, I've already got the idea that Target is working to fix the issue. I'm going to get 3 years of free credit monitoring, and there's a 1-800 number for me to call. Well, now I got the bad news, so now I know what it is that I need to do and what they're offering. Whereas if they gave me the bad news in a direct approach and they said, hey, Target's security was breached and personal information was stolen from some of our clients, you were one of the clients whose information was stolen. Well, now I'm upset, and they set a frame of mind where I'm going to be very upset reading the letter, and I may not even continue reading everything, or if I do, I'm going to be so upset I may not remember it. So now all the information they wrote after may not really sink in, whereas with the indirect approach, they were able to build what it is they wanted to say and then give me the bad news. But in this case, when we do meet in class, you will use the direct approach because it is a direct message. So please keep that in mind. So for your body and closing, understanding the format outline you will use to apply techniques discussed to be more efficient in your writing will really help you. So create an outline when you're writing a direct message. When you open up when we meet in class, you're going to write your message in a Microsoft Word document, and you're going to open up, you're going to open up Microsoft Word, and then what's going to be good is you can create an outline in that Microsoft Word document about what it is you want to write about in this case. And when you have an outline, you're able to group ideas together much more easily. That way, when you start writing each section, it's going to automatically flow, and you're not going to waste time trying to think of ideas of what to write about. So let's take a look at the direct letter format. So in a direct letter, you're going to have a letterhead. This is where you have the company's name and information. This is where it's going to maybe even have a company logo. Next, you're going to have the date line, which is the date the letter was written. Then you're going to have an inside address, the address of the person you are sending this to. A salutation, this is Mr. or Mrs. or Doctor or customer. Then you're going to have a subject line. And make sure to have a subject line. It is mandatory in the direct letters that I grade. Um, your subject line is going to be something along the lines of what the letter is written about. Then you're going to have the body, the actual writing of the letter. You're going to have a complimentary close, something like, sincerely or best regards or cheers, whatever it may be, but something that is professional. Cheers is, in this case, in the business letter, is going to be a little bit more informal. So stay away from the informal stuff, such as, cheers, or even something more friendly like warm regards. You want to keep it more professional, such as best or best regards or thank you, whatever it may feel in that sense that's more professional. Then your organization name, your author's name, and then your book discusses reference initials. This isn't something that is necessary. I don't mind if you don't have it on your letter. A reference initial is something that a company will put at the bottom of a page. And you may see it on some letters you receive, and it may say like, reference initial QR125-9JK. So that way, if someone calls up about a letter they received, the customer service representative may say, can you please give me the reference initials at the bottom of your letter, so they can pull up the letter that the customer is reviewing. But you don't need to have that. It's not mandatory. So here's a direct letter example. This is very similar to what you're going to be writing when we meet in class for your first in-class writing assignment, which is a direct message. So this was a direct message for the students to write to clients who just recently joined United Airlines Mileage Plus service. They signed up for the Mileage Plus account to redeem awards and points. So now, as a customer service rep, you need to send an email out, or send a letter out to them. And for your first in-class writing assignment, it will be in a letter format. I always like to help my students out. Don't worry about the memo format or an email format right now. For your first in-class writing assignment, it will be in a letter format. So in this case, let's go back. So first you have the letterhead and the date line. So here's the letterhead, this is the company logo, and they have the date line of when this was written. Then you have the inside address, which this is the inside address right here. This is who you're writing the letter to. Then you have the salutation and the subject line, which this is the salutation, dear Mr. Robinson, and the subject, welcome to United Airlines Mileage Plus. Now these two can be reversed. If you want to put the subject line first, that's fine. It does not matter. I will not take points off. Either way, if you want to use dear Mr. Robinson first, that's fine as well too. But make sure if you do use Mr. or Mrs. that you only include their last name and not their first name. And then they go on and they go to the body. So this is the body right here. All of this information is the body. So right here they write, welcome to the United Airlines Mileage Plus program. We are excited to have you part of the United family. We are certain you will enjoy the benefits and perks United Airlines has to offer for your frequent flyers. Now right away, I understand that this is a welcome letter and it's about joining the United Airlines Mileage Plus program. So this is a direct message. Right away, they give the direct message of welcoming the receiver to the program. Then they go on to talk about some of the perks. So some of the perks for joining include access to tools only United Airlines Mileage Plus members have. There are several perks we think you will enjoy, so we invite you to view them at the following website, unitedairlines.com/mileage-plus-benefits. Notice the URL that they use for the website, it's very clean and simple to understand. You want to stay away from the URLs that are very long, like unitedairlines.com/mileage-plus-benefits /current benefits and then they'll have letters and numbers J5964, etc., etc. The longer the URL is in a letter, the more difficult it is for the receiver to try to plug it into their actual computer or mobile device. Because remember, you're going to be writing a letter. This is a hard copy. This isn't an email where they're going to be able to click on this right here. So this is something that needs to be easy for them to remember. And then they discuss some of their more popular featured items. So some of our more popular featured include, so right here you can see there was a spelling mistake. This should say features and not featured. That's something I'm going to be looking for. And remember, in your grading rubric for your CLASS grading rubric, literacy is a big threshold of your assignment you're writing. So I can see right here this was a big mistake, and that's going to count towards their grade. So then the student went on and listed 3 of the perks. 10% off your first round trip ticket booked through UnitedAirlines.com, complimentary seat upgrade on selected flight when available, discounted partner opportunities with Hertz, Verizon, and many more. So they list some of the bullet points, very quick, very easy to understand, and here they tell them where to go to see them all. So that's really good. So you're kind of giving them a teaser, a little taste of what you have to include, but here with the URL, you're giving them where to go to view them all. And then they have a sign off. We appreciate you becoming part of our family, and we look forward to serving you in the friendly skies. Then going back here, you have your complimentary close, your organization's name and author's name. So here's your complimentary close. Sincerely, their name and their United Airlines Director of the Mileage Plus program, with a quote here, and then the phone number and the URL of where to go to. So you always have your contact information in a direct message in this case. So keep this in mind. This is what I'm going to be looking for your first in-class writing assignment when we meet on that first Friday for the live class. So please be sure to have a good idea of this formatting and go over the tools that we discussed today and look at all of them for the chapters that we've gone over so far between chapters 1 and 5. They will really help you write your first in-class writing assignment. And when you do write your first in-class writing assignment, you're going to have 1 hour, 1 hour to complete it. So please make sure to practice and make sure you organize your time in a way where you're going to be able to complete it. What I tell my students is break down your time. So you have an hour to complete this. So maybe the first 5 minutes you read the prompt and you take notes on the prompt. Then the next 5 to 10 minutes, start organizing an outline. Write an outline on your Microsoft Word document on what it is that you wanted to write about. So for example, let's go ahead and open up a Microsoft Word document. So when you open up your Microsoft Word document for your first in-class writing assignment, your direct letter is going to look something very similar to this. Bear with me 1 second. Here we go. So if you receive this prompt for your in-class writing assignment, this is something that you may want to use. You're going to have the logo up here at the top, which I will provide for you. So let's just write United up there for now. Make sure you write today's date, which will be, in this case, September 17th, 2017. Name, address, city, state, zip. Dear for your salutation, or you can even put hello, you know, Mr. whoever we are writing to in this case. Let's just write Smith. And then you're going to have your subject line here, the subject of the letter, and then here, so now we want to write, whoops, let's go ahead and spell that right. Now we want to write an outline of what it is we want to write. So let's say I just read the prompt for this assignment. In the beginning, I want to make sure, since it's a direct message, I want to put here maybe, let's go ahead and write an outline like this. So we're going to start off with the welcome message. And I want to write a quick thank you, a quick, welcome, and a thank you. And then I want to write some of the perks we're going to be discussing. Perks for members, and this will be a general kind of message. And then we're going to discuss some of the perks, and I'm going to list first perk, second perk, and third perk here. And then I'm going to write a sign off in this case, and then I'm going to put complimentary close. So I'm going to put sincerely. And then I'm going to put my name here, United Airlines representative, or whatever. It's going to make sure you use spell check. Whatever your title is going to be, it's going to be listed on the prompt. Then I'm going to put my phone number. I'm going to put my email. Oops. Let's put elpapoys@unitedAirlines.com, and then I'll maybe include the website as well. So that will kind of give me an outline of what I want to write about. So that way I can really start writing what it is I want to write. It will help you save time and it will help you organize when you do write. So take about 5 to 10 minutes, write your outline. Now that will give you about 45 minutes left, and you can write your message in about 30 to 35 minutes, which will leave you about 5 to 10 minutes left for editing when we do meet. So always keep that in mind. So when you come to class on Friday for our first in-class writing assignment, this is what you're going to be writing on. So please keep that in mind. Make sure that you come prepared to write a direct message in a letter format for our first in-class writing assignment. So for your class activity 3, this will help lead into your APA research report. We're going to go over our APA research report. Once we are done going over the APA research report, come back in here and complete class activity number 3. So class activity number 3 will have to do with your research report that you're going to be completing for this class. And in your activity, you're going to pick an ideal candidate that you're going to interview for the APA research report. You're going to provide with me a backup candidate as well. And then for part 2, I want you to write down 3 things you will do to be successful in completing your APA report on time and without rushing it at the end of the semester to complete it. So that will be your 3rd class activity. So let's go ahead and take a look at your actual APA research report. So your APA research report link for it to be due is right here. So let's go ahead and click on this. It will open up. So here you will see the due date for your APA research report. It's going to be due on Sunday, December 17th, which is the last day of finals week at 11:55 p.m. I will not accept any late papers after this day because this is the final day of final exams. Actually, your final exams end on that Friday and Saturday of December 15th and 16th. But this will give you a final date to complete it on Sunday night at 11:55 p.m. So it's the last thing you're going to turn in. So let's go ahead and open this up. Click on this link here and the Microsoft Word document should download. And here is your APA research report. So this is what you're going to have to complete this semester. So again, this is going to be worth 100 points total of your grade, so it is worth 10%. So please make sure you put the time and effort into it. So your task, you're going to research an entrepreneur who is a founder or an owner of a company. You must interview the entrepreneur in person or over Skype. I want you to be face-to-face with them, whether it's in person or electronically. There are no exceptions. You cannot do a phone interview because this is the process of practicing when you are writing a business report, especially an APA report. So please keep that in mind. So you're to write an APA short informational report that provides information from outside sources which tie in with what you discuss with the entrepreneur about their company organization. The outside sources need to support their business ideas and strategies. Pretend as if you are going to give this report back to the entrepreneur, and this is something that they're going to see as kind of what it is that you came up with. You will want to find outside resources which support their ideas discussed for you in their interview. Please make sure to write in 3rd person in this APA report. So let's take a look at an example of what I'm looking at of bringing in outside sources. So for example, let's say you discussed how the impact of social media has helped their business grow and reach customers much faster. So you're interviewing your entrepreneur and they are telling you, social media has helped our business grow. We're able to reach our customers much faster and we're able to have much more profits because of social media. So now what you can do is you can find credible sources to show how social media has helped businesses grow. Use the information to support what the entrepreneur discussed. So you can go and you can find information, maybe a magazine article, some kind of publication and a credible source. This is not Wikipedia. This is not a personal web page that someone has posted, or even a blog post. This has to be a published, credible source. Um, and if you are looking to search on how to use a credible source, you can always go to the library on campus and you can make an appointment with a librarian to see how you can research for these types of reports using the library database. But some of you may already know how to research and how to find credible sources, and I'll go over a few things after on how you can look for credible sources as well too. But make sure to go to a library, go to the school library, make an appointment with a librarian to see how you can find a way on how to research for credible sources. So let's say you go and you research and you search in for social media in the workplace and you find a credible source that discusses how social media has helped businesses grow. You could take information from that book or article and use it in your APA report to help establish credibility on what your boss, or excuse me, on what the entrepreneur was discussing. So again, if your entrepreneur discusses how social media has helped their business grow, you can write about that in your report. Then you can have a section talking about how you found how there was information discussing how social media can help businesses grow and thrive by reaching customers faster and more efficiently, and you connect the two together. It helps back up what your entrepreneur said. So some questions to ask the entrepreneur are listed here, but they're not limited. So please, if you go in with a preparation of what questions you want to ask, go in with a good 10, 15 questions at least. That way you are prepared. But these are some questions you can ask the entrepreneur. I put in here just as an example. So here are the steps to complete this report. So first, interview the entrepreneur. Make sure to do that sooner rather than later. Don't put this off to the end of the semester, because if for some reason your entrepreneur cancels on you, you're going to now be really stuck on interviewing someone. So please don't come up to me and say, hey professor, I scheduled an interview for December 1st and the entrepreneur is not able now to meet up with me. What do I do? This is something you need to schedule your interview with your entrepreneur, in the month of September and October, the latest, so that way you can get this done and completed. Then research and gather information helpful to the entrepreneur. So items you discussed during the interview, kind of like what I discussed about the social media in the workplace. Maybe your entrepreneur discussed 4 big key items. Go search and try to find some credible sources to help back up that information. Step 3, write your title page. So your title page is going to be 1 page. Step 4, write your abstract page. Your abstract will be 1 page. And we're going to go over all of these after I go over the report as well. Step 5, which is 3 pages minimum, compose an APA short informational report. This needs to be in APA format about the person you interviewed. 1 page of the report should be a short update that focuses on what the entrepreneur discussed, and at least 2 pages should discuss 3 noteworthy news items, such as competition, recent activities, growth projections of the industry, legislation affecting the business, etc. Anything you feel is necessary for this business, which tie into the answers your entrepreneur gave to you in the interview. These are your outside references that should support what was discussed in the interview. And then step 6, 1 page, compile a list of references in standard APA style containing at least 10 resources related to the subject. These sources, which are secondary research, should be reputable, useful, and recent. They need to be cited in the text of the report, again, in correct APA style. Incorrect attribution will result in a substantial grade reduction. So guidelines for submission, the final research report packet. You will upload a completed professional-looking APA report consisting of, and then I broke it down for you again, your title page, your abstract, your actual report, and then your reference list. So this whole project should be a minimum of 6 pages. So purpose, you will demonstrate information accuracy and competency. That is the ability to process complex information and to present it in meaningfully to the appropriate audience using a correct citation format. You will complete a small-scale research task and compose a professional report as an introduction to academic and business reports. So you will learn how to use the library and its resources, conventional as well as electronic. You will apply APA documentation correctly. So again, make sure to visit the library on campus. This is one of your tasks that you need to complete as an online student. You need to go into the library, um, make an appointment with a librarian, see if you could make an appointment to discuss how to search for credible sources using the library's website. Cal State Fullerton has a wonderful database called EBSCOhost that you can use to access books, articles. It's wonderful, and the librarians will help you use this. So please make sure to go to the library and visit a librarian. You will learn how to handle primary and secondary research completely and right with proper documentation, an informative APA short informational report. Assessment measures. I will grade this assignment for thoroughness, accuracy, and clarity of content, proper citation of sources, and professional presentation. The sources used and references must be cited in the body of the short informational report. So those 10 references that you have listed on your reference page at the end of the report, all 10 of those need to be discussed in your actual APA report. And again, write your report in APA format. And here's an APA guideline that you can look at. The Purdue Online Writing Lab, this is a great website on how to write APA reports, what you're going to be looking at. This is what your title page should look like. Here's what an abstract is and what your abstract should look like, and then how to cite your references. So this is how you write your references, which a librarian will help you with as well. These are the authors. This is the year the book was published. And this is where they receive the information from. It can either be a book title, a web page, whatever you used for in this case, but it needs to be reputable sources. And here, as you can see, all the different styles and approaches that you can use for your APA report. Let's go back to your Word document. So here's a possible outline of the APA report. You have your title page, you have your abstract page, your interview discussion is one page. You can discuss what you and the entrepreneur focus on during your interview. And then 4 topics discussed. Remember, I need at least 3 topics discussed in the interview and support it with research. This needs to be 2 pages minimum. So you can have topic 1, topic 2, and topic 3. So what was discussed exactly, and then the research to back what it was that you discussed. So going back, maybe your entrepreneur discussed the social media in the workplace on how it's helped them substantially grow their business. Then you talk about the research to back it up that you found. And then your reference page, 1 page. So that is your APA report. It will be due on Sunday, December 17th, which is the last day of the semester. Please make sure it's uploaded to Titanium. I will not accept any late documents. And then here I also uploaded a PowerPoint, which is an APA format, to kind of help you guys, kind of really guide you through your writing for an APA report. So take a look at it. It's about 24 pages. This will kind of give you an idea of what I'm going to be looking for when you are writing. What is APA, the APA style language, how you need to write. You need to be clear and concise. What your document should be. You should have 1-inch margins. You should use 10 to 12 point font. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Your title page, your abstract, your main body, and then your references. Here's what your title page looks like, your abstract page, your main body text, your reference page, and so on and so on. And how to write your references as well, too. So take a look at this. This will help you write your APA report. Again, this is a project that will take you time to complete. You need to find an entrepreneur. You need to call that entrepreneur. You need to make sure that you schedule an interview with the entrepreneur, someone who owns their own business. Once you schedule that interview, then you need to start writing. So you can see how this is going to take some time to complete, because then you also need to go to the library. The library is optional. If you know how to write an APA report already and how to find references, using the database on the library website, then that is fine. You don't need to go visit the library. However, if you are not familiar with using the library's EBSCOhost research database, please go into the library and make an appointment with a librarian or ask to speak to one, so that way you can they can show you how to utilize the tools on the library website going forward. So again, this is going to be a long project. Please make sure that you allocate enough time to complete it. Do not wait until week 15 to start this project. I guarantee you, I can tell which students started late and which ones took the time to work on this. And again, if you have any questions, please let me know. A reminder, we have a mandatory live class meeting next week during week 5 on Friday, September 22nd. Please see the syllabus for the time and location, and it's also at the top of Titanium as well too. So good luck to you guys all this week. Make sure you complete your week 5, your chapter 5 mind tap homework. Again, I will show you on how you can access this. So when you are in our course, and you go to chapter 5, so here we have our chapter contents. Chapter 5 assignment, this is what you need to complete for the mind tap homework. All these other additional study tools, this is just practice for you. This isn't something that you have to complete. So please keep that in mind. This is just really practice. Just the assignments are what you need to complete for your mind tap homework, and this is what will count towards your grade. Again, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to ask me. I wish you all the best of luck this week. And then next Monday, I will post our week 6 class video lecture, and we will also meet on Friday, September 22nd. Good luck to you all.